it's Scott. So I'm gonna goof around in Photoshop today and MidJourney and Stable Diffusion and work on some images. I have this cyborg competition I'm in for AI art. I like this theme a lot. And this, by the way, this competition is like totally full, like 60 people. And it was just kind of, I don't know, it's not real organized. And the tools are pretty good, but we're going to do our own. I have some prizes lined up. I have some sponsors lined up. So we're going to do our own AI art thing. So I'll announce that soon, and I'll put it in Discord and all that stuff. If you're not on Twitter, I would suggest you kind of warm that up. I wasn't on Twitter for the longest time, but I find a lot of this AI art stuff and NFT stuff and all these kind of current trends really work best on Twitter. And so I've kind of shined that up. I mean, I really was ignoring it for years, and now I'm finding it to be pretty good. It's replacing that whole Instagram thing, which is, since I don't have TikTok, I really don't need Instagram, do I? Because that's apparently what Instagram is right now, is just everyone re-rolling their TikToks on Instagram. So I've been kind of moving to Twitter, and I like Twitter a lot better, only because I can put my body paints up there and I don't get reported constantly, because Instagram is just hell. So anyway, so we're going to do is we're going to work on some cyborgs today in Photoshop and Stable Diffusion, actually. We may do some MidJourney as well. Depends on what I need. But this is me just goofing around, and I thought I would put it on here as a live stream because I know a lot of people are interested in like watching somebody Photoshop and some together. And I'm not a big fan of just taking whatever the AI hands us from our art and saying, hey, look, I made this, I'm done. I want to put my own touches on it. I want to finish it. And that's what this is about. So it's just my philosophy toward things. So I have two cameras. I have this one that's the side of my head because I'm going to be looking at my screen over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch it to the one that is down on my desk. So you can kind of see what I'm doing there. If you're wondering like how I have my desk arranged and how I use the things I have down here, the camera is right here and it just points straight down to my desk. So we're going to switch over to that here. It looks like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick it up in the corner so then you can kind of see what I'm doing. And if I go back and we have questions, then I will obviously switch it back to the side of my head cam. Anyway, so we have a new tablet that XPGAN sent me because I was whining about my Wacom, and I have to say I'm pretty happy with it. It always connects. It always works. The Wacom about half the time doesn't connect, and then I got to reboot it or restart all the processes, and it's kind of painful. So this is the XPGAN, which I like quite a bit. I still haven't configured the controls on the side, and I need to. I like them a lot better than the Wacom ones. Not that I'm making this a commercial about XPGAN, but I am really happy with the tablet. But I would never use these Wacom ones because they're not very tactile. Like I want to feel it when I push it, and I can't really tell if it's stuck or not. So anyway. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to jump in here. So I've got a bunch of these images. These are all ones that I've kind of generated. I got to be careful through here because there are nudes in here. Because you can generate nudes with Stable Diffusion if you're running it locally. Things like this, for example, would never be possible with the blurring they have now, but they're also irritated with the blurring. So don't like get all in a huff about it. They know it's annoying. They think it's annoying, and they're working on fixing it. But you've got like this element of bad people in the world that are trying to use these tools to generate very bad images. And we're not just talking about porn here. We're just take it to the worst level. And they're trying to do is shut that down so that can't be done with their tools. So give them a moment, and I'm sure they'll get that all straightened out. But I'm not offended by a boob. So yeah, sometimes there'll be a random boob in here. But it's not going to be a big deal. Cartoon boob, who cares? All right, but I want to work in the cyborg, and I love this one. So not to belabor this, but I did a video on upsizing. So these now are much larger. So if we look at the info for these, we're at, where are you? I thought it would be right in there. Yeah, 11,000 pixels on the long edge. So this is as big as my A7R4, my Sony A7R4, which is my photography camera, as big as that shoots now. So how I got here was actually pretty easy, and it's a free application called Chainer, and I did a video on it. But I wanted to walk you through this like real quick. I know we'll get into Photoshop in a minute, but I think this is a problem that everyone's facing. And this tool is free, by the way. So it's, I put it in, I did a whole nother video on Chainer. But anyway, I just want to show you how I set this up because it's really stupid easy. all I did was load an image, and I picked one of the images. Hang on a second. You have to trust it. So you can pick your image through here, and then you need to load a model, which is your, what do you want to call it? The thing that's going to do the math, right? So we load a model down here. I use the PyTorch model here. And say what, actually, you know what? I have this whole thing saved. What am I thinking? Let me just pull this up. Sorry, I'm going off on something. Here it is. So how this works is you basically load in an image and you load in your model, and you download these models for free. And then I run it through, I upscale it, and then I run it through the upscaler again. And then I end up with something that's 11,000 pixels. All right, so why is that helpful? Well, if we're in Photoshop, for example, let's double click on this and pull it up in Photoshop. Now this sucker is substantially huge, right? We can get all the way in here. It's done a pretty good job. I mean, we're at, I mean, if you print this thing, it's tremendous, right? It's 110 pixels, or sorry, 150 inches tall. For the metric among us, that would be almost 400 centimeters. So that's pretty damn big. Anyway, so I did that with this Chainer app. And again, this thing is free, but what I do too is I have one that's for multiple images. And it basically just runs through everything in a directory, upscales it. I need to add the other upscaler in here again. Upscales it again. I didn't save this properly last time, I guess. Now it's going to take everything in a directory. And what I do is I set this up and I just, I let it run overnight. I put a whole bunch of stuff in one thing and let it run. Am I aware among the controversy amongst the art world, regarding MidJourney AI art? Yeah. I mean, it's the thing that, geez, the day that this thing kind of broke, I was like, well, this is going to really turn a whole lot of consumers into producers, right? You know, people who can't draw in paint are suddenly going to be able to draw in paint. So that obviously shakes up the world a little bit. However, if you've ever read the book Who Moved My Cheese, which is one of those business books, but I think a lot of people have read it. There's a really good point there in that things keep evolving. You know, when cameras first came out, all the painters and everyone who could draw freaked out, right? Oh my God, this is the death of art. You know, we'll never have another portrait again. And then when, you know, digital cameras came out and film cameras were, you know, made obsolete. Oh my God, this is the death of photography. You'll never be the same. This is just another evolution of that. And I think for people who can actually draw and actually paint, the people who can really put a chisel to stone and do those types of things are now just as valuable as they were before. But I think that maybe the focus is more interesting because a lot of people are like, wow, I love what I could do inside of MidJourney, but now I want to be able to do it for real. I want to be able to paint. I want to be able to draw. It is a really great way for them to get interest in that, to build that interest. So yeah, and that's a good point. If you have the skill, talent will always rise to the top. That's true in every industry. We use the example of the person who makes stone wheels and was really, I'm sure, frosted when rubber wheels came out. So, well, this sucks. You know, you buy my stone wheels, they're much better. You know, you just got to adapt. Your cheese has moved, right? Your cheese has moved. So go find it. Go find the new cheese. And for me, so I'm a full-time photographer. Like my entire job is taking pictures of people. And, you know, I shoot album covers. I shoot things for magazines. I have a Nora Roberts, if you know who she has like 500 million books in print. She used one of my images for book cover. You know, a lot of people are like, well, let's just use AI art for book covers now. Especially I've heard bands say that. Bands are like, hey, don't bother hiring a photographer for your album cover. Just use AI art for your album cover. Well, you know what? Guess what? Music generation is next. And it's actually the same guy, Eamon, who's in charge of Stable Diffusion, is running, I think it's Harmony is what they call it. And that is music generation with singing and lyrics. And it's all AI driven. And it's out there. If you do a little Googling for it, you can find it. But that's also awesome. And that's going to frost over the music industry. And then when you have next 3D models, I mean, there's a whole bunch of that stuff that's coming. It's just a matter of time. So your cheese is moving, right? Find out what you can do to adapt or die. You know, basically that's those are your two options. And it, as unfriendly as that may seem, this stuff isn't going away, right? You've got to find an answer. I'm going to do is I'm going to load these in here while I'm chatting. You're going to have to find a way to handle it. It's not going to go away. And as much as people may be upset about it, that's inconsequential. I know we're kind of in we're kind of in a mood now where, oh my God, I'm offended, move the world for me type of attitude. And I'm not like that. This is just, you know, I guess every day my goal is to offend one person, right? Not really, but I don't care. If you have an opinion and you get offended, then that's tough. You have an opinion and it offends me, I'm sure. This whole thing is just gonna change the world. All right, so I'm looking at this. I just loaded these in again. I dragged them from Bridge. If you don't use Bridge, this is free app if you own Creative Cloud, you know, the Photoshop suite. I freaking love this application because I can rank my things, I can keyword them. I'm doing them by color and star ratings mostly, so I can kind of keep track of what I'm working on. Plus the tips I know are the finished images. These are the two we did on the live stream a couple days ago. So I can go and I can quickly find what it is I want to work on, and just double click on it to launch it right into Photoshop. So I really love this. But if you drag it into Photoshop, it'll open it. Now, if you drag it into the Platen over here, it opens as a new document. If you drag it into the work surface, it opens as the in the same as a layer. So I open them like that because I like different parts of this. Face is so elegant to me, and I love the hair. I love this little thing here. We do have to do some work to fix it up a bit, but it's really great. And again, if we're in here, like really in here, you can see that there's some areas that need some touch up. We're going to work on a little bit of that because I want this really nice, and I think I'm going to print this. So, hey, it's All Music. Hey, thanks for your support, buddy. You're awesome. Speaking of which, here are our patrons who are amazing. You folks are making this happen. And Leslie McManus is brand new on the Channel Professionals. So Channel Professionals get Photoshop documents of everything we're working on with all the layers and everything. So the channel patrons are the people who are putting in more money. So you guys are so awesome. I really appreciate you keeping the channel alive, because we're not making money through advertising, that's for sure. Anyway, so let's keep working on this. So what I want to do here is I love the face here. So this is we're going to rename this. You double click on it to break the background so that you can actually edit it. I like the face, and this one I like the chest here. So the chest. What do I like in this one? I think I like these little flowers. The dimensions on this piece are 8,000 pixels by 11,000 pixels. So again, I ran it through Chainer twice, and yeah, that's pretty awesome. It's giant. It's bigger than my A7R4, which is I think a 64 megapixel camera. He says, an AI artist, the whole thing is freeing because you can use it as a tool to get instantly get ideas. And that's exactly true. That's the thing I'm looking at it for, is to me, this is an ideation. If we're coming up with ideas, it's not a finished product creator. And this one, I kind of like the chest too. This is the original piece, the one that I really liked. And I thought I liked the face, but I was running some variations on it in the face. So it's too pretty. It's so pretty. It actually looks like someone I know. Funny. All right, so let's start hacking this thing up. So the first thing I do is I want the chest, and I'm just gonna, actually I need to change a little thing here. Let's go change our pen tablet because it is using too much of the darn desktop. I just want to use a portion of it. Ooh, I'm running low on battery, aren't I? That might be unfortunate. We might have to change our method there. Anyway, so we're gonna put a mask on this thing, and I'm just gonna draw on the mask white to reveal what I want to reveal. So we can I'm just gonna rough it in real quick. Decide what parts I want to keep and what parts I don't want to keep. think I like this chrome feeling one a little bit better. Do I like the human neck in there? I think I like the chrome. Go with all chrome all the way over here. I'm gonna worry about the background. Do is just kind of decide what pieces of this I want. Chin too short if I do that. What I'm doing is this is very low end Photoshop, right? All I'm doing is masking. I'm not doing anything fancy right now. But I just want to kind of rough in what I want. The sharpness of your brush should match what you're working on. So for example, this brush seems pretty good. If it were harder than this, it's going to look weird. And if it's softer than that, it's going to look, it's going to look kind of bizarre. There's reasons to use both, but you want to find one that kind of matches what it is you're working on. A lot easier. Then you can kind of just decide what you want to keep here. You can also draw a straight line by holding down the shift key. So click and shift. Straight line. That is harder. Love the AI art in MidJourney. You see, it's a tool to create something awesome. I Frankenstein an image. I think the whole copyright and ownership thing is messing up with the profession I'm in. Yeah, it's you know, the people who are going to school for art right now. I really hope their professors are not like the professors in other industries, where they're not really active in their industry anymore. They just more or less teach, because this is going to change a lot of what they're going to be learning or should be learning in school. Because you need to recognize this is, I mean, in a lot of respects, this is your enemy. If this is your full-time job, right? So you've got to do something to defend yourself, and learning it and knowing what it is capable of and what it's not capable of is intelligent. Trying to find her jawline here. I think as long as you consider directing, movie art directing AI will become an art too. Yeah, I agree. Prompt engineering is a thing. It's already a thing. You know, it's been a thing. I think all that is really interesting stuff. Like that. That looks good. So we got the head, we got the body that we like. This is the wrong face. Pull from. All right, hair. I like the hair, but I think we had this flowers. I think these were pretty. I don't know that I like them better. They're more delicate, but I really like this part here of the other one. Looks so kind of retro-y hairstyle, his hairstyle. So I kind of like that. This, I kind of like the flowers though, I think. So let's start with the flowers on that. I'm gonna just borrow quickly. Borrow. Do we like? Yeah, so what's everyone up to today? Just big weekend. I leave for Tennessee next week, so I will probably not be doing any videos much next week. So sorry about that. But if you're in the Knoxville or Chattanooga area, I will be photographing. I have, I think, 12 boudoir clients in there. So you know somebody in that area who wants to get photographed by me, that's a good chance for you to do it. We'll be in your city. After that, I'll be heading to Orlando in a couple weeks, and then I'll be heading to Portland, Oregon, actually, to do a seminar down there as well on photography. So if you're in any of those cities, let me know. Have a beer. Kind of just from a great distance here, looking at how this lays out, and if I like it. I think I do. I think I like it. A little bit of something. What do you think? You guys have an opinion there? Love it? Hate it? It actually adds a lot of weight to the back of the image, which I don't know that I like. Maybe I do that. I'm undecided. Maybe I don't. Maybe I don't. Okay, what do we got here? Do we like anything with this one? And I think this was the original model, and I'm not really very motivated by it. So let's use this one. Let's just flatten the whole thing here. And we're not flatten, but we're going to kind of work on it. I need to get rid of these. So we're going to use the patch tool, which is probably my favorite tool in all of Photoshop. Just super quick. You live over the pond in Ireland. I have some good friends over in Ireland. 3XM, which makes a lot of really nice boxes that I use for delivering prints to my boudoir clients. Dublin, I believe. Phone stamp here. Kind of goofing around. Thank you, thank you. Again, it's not all mine. It's mostly AI, but we are going to make it ours. We're going to do a lot of goofing around with it. I need to fix this. This hair is not that fantastic back in here. I'm just going to kind of fix it up a bit. It's going to be perfect because we're going to be doing some heavy lifting with it too, but I do want to make it easier. Already getting sucked into prompt craft, the expanding my creative verbalism. Yeah. Well, every day we post a, or I post a word of the day or a prompt of the day and explain how I use it and why I use it. I think that people are finding that useful, although I don't think a lot of people see it. I don't know that YouTube is doing a great job with that end of the product. It seems kind of like it's half-assed. Same with the membership system. I love that you guys are helping me in there and you're joining, but I used to use Patreon, and Patreon is a lot smarter about this. And I see why Google is doing this. Obviously, it's competitive because even Patreon is even looking at getting into video now, and that's really going to kind of put a big hole in the side of Google's ship if they're working to try and maintain membership like Twitch and so on, which is owned by Facebook. So I'm not going to use that product. I thought about using that for live streams. Do you guys like the live streams? I know a lot of channels have moved away from doing live streams and moved them to Twitch because they find the YouTube algorithm kind of punishes them. What do you guys think? Do you like the live streams? I mean, I'm doing this because I figure people like it, and I mean, I'm going to work on this image anyway. So I was like, I'll just do it with you folks instead of doing it on my own. So. Love the art style of MidJourney and DALL-E last month, but you never use it. Yeah, you know what? I've had DALL-E for a long time and I never use it. Well, I'll say never use it. I just don't care for it. I don't like the look of what I get out of it most of the time. So I haven't been using it. Nothing wrong with it. It's just not what I want. All the time anyway. I'm just fixing this background here a bit. Blurry edge here. I consider multicasting. Yeah, the thing is that I don't know that I'm interested in Twitch that much. This channel actually started as a gaming channel. I game a lot. It's my way of relaxing. It's my only thing that I do that way. I don't watch TV. When I'm not doing this, I have a laser cutter that I play with. I'm making my own Catan board. I talk about that a lot on here. I like the board concept. You know, I actually have pieces right. I keep showing you guys these. My Catan board pieces. But yeah, playing with the laser cutter, doing something. I made some really fancy ones too. They just like the brick pattern, so they're really nice, like intaglio pieces of wood that I've painted. All right, so we need to. I think this is pretty good. I'm going to flatten this, and we're gonna frequency separate it. So frequency separation is basically putting the texture and the color on different layers, so that we can do more stuff. A lot of people are like, "Oh, frequency separation sucks. Why would you use that?" Okay, you're using it wrong if you think that, because it is a super amazing technique, and it does nothing. I mean, it by itself, it doesn't move anything. So you have to actually mess with the pixels to do anything. Meaning, once we frequency separate this, if we turn it on and off, you see there's no changes. Frequency separation shouldn't alter the image. It's what you do with the frequency separation that screw it up. What we're going to do here is we're going to fix some flaws with the skin here. I tend to use the healing brush in here. We're just gonna fix some of these goofy things that I couldn't figure out what they are, but we need to fix them. There, here's a rough. I might use this, or I might use the mixer brush to that one. We want a really low flow. We're just going to basically kind of mix these colors together in here a little bit so it doesn't look so bumpy. Every so often I'll be trying to fix a spot and I realize there's dirt on my monitor. I'm like, oh yeah, I've been trying to fix that spot for how long now? And it's a piece of dirt. E, not S. E. Good, this is a little nasty. Again, she's supposed to be metal, so I'm trying to kind of even out some of this texture so that it looks more... Kind of what I'm doing is I'm just smearing this more or less. So this is what I've done so far. Oops, let's turn this on. It's before and after. You see what I'm doing? I'm just smoothing it out a little bit. And I'm just working with the texture layer off. How'd I got into photography in the first place? Yeah, I used to be an architect before this, so a physicist actually. So I worked in the architectural world for the Kuwait Ministry of Defense during Desert Storm for the Department of Defense, and as a contractor. And I would take photos of different areas that we would be using for buildings and stuff we were making during the war. And the other illustrator, because I would illustrate as well, so I can do what's called type marker, which is kind of a dead, almost a dead thing now. I do type marker illustrations for those buildings, and the other illustrator got dead. So all of a sudden, I became the full illustrator and was really leaned on more and more than I was as a physicist, security physicist. So I started doing more and more this, and then more and more photography, because you had to take more pictures of those buildings. And then I got into the prison industry, and I worked for a company in Peoria, Illinois, actually, that is one of the top prison design firms in the world, and worked for them for a few years as an illustrator, and got into 3D quite a bit actually back then. And kind of just, again, you need photos of cities where you're going to be putting prisons and courthouses that you've got to try and sell that whole correctional thing to the public. So I started doing more and more of that. And then I saw a photography group here in Milwaukee area, and they were having events, and I was like, oh, I think I want to learn more about how to photograph people. And I went down there and I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I shot almost every weekend. And yeah, I worked as a SQL evangelist for a while as well for Microsoft's consulting services. So I did a lot of big heavy duty database work, and then started my own IT firm, which is what I was doing for quite a few years. And I just decided I hated it. I didn't like so many aspects of it. I'm going to try and goof with this cheek, by the way. I'm not really sure that I like what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to duplicate this. Oops. I'm just going to duplicate this color layer and hide it, and actually work on it. I'm going to try something. But I didn't like, there's so many aspects of IT that I didn't like, and it was mostly people related. It wasn't the systems related. I have a knack for technology. I have no problem picking it up or learning it. But it was just more or less the people. Like, people who didn't know how to manage projects were put in charge of project management. Things would get icky and fail, and I got frustrated. Yeah, so I eventually decided, you know what, I'm just going to work for myself, and then I can make my own mistakes, and nobody can, you know, take the blame with me. And I did that for a few years, and I did well at it, and I liked it, and then basically just kind of sold off most of it, and decided to focus on more doing this kind of stuff. I do some IT from time to time, though. I get who call me and ask me to do bigger projects. I did, geez, the PNC business banking loan system. I wrote that. All the injury management for Kennedy Space Center and Johnson Controls in 72 languages. That I had a great team. A fun time. A soulless vocation. That's true in some respects. That's certainly true in some respects. I'm looking for where I can borrow this texture. I look at this patch tool as more like a texture replacement tool. Kind of just borrow bits and pieces of things. It's kind of not super happy with this. But yes, that's my bizarre career. Oh yeah, and I owned a home brewing and home winemaking store for a while too. My wife and I opened that. Fun. But you want to wreck a hobby, make a business out of it. So now I just drink the beer and I don't make it anymore. I haven't made beer since I sold the store. But yeah, I appreciate good beer. So I actually like mixology is one of my other hobbies. I like to make really fancy cocktails for people. I tried to get a job as a bartender once, and it was like dealing with people. I didn't like being a servant, is how it kind of felt, and that was really weird for me. I didn't think that would ever be a thing, but it was. And I guess it's being treated like a servant. You know, that's, some people just don't know how to treat people nicely. I think most of those people are on the internet these days. Well, 40% of jobs are useless. Yeah, I know there's a lot of people I've worked with over the years, and I'm like, why are you employed? I mean, you are horrible at what you do, or you're dumb. You know, you're doing something and you're absolutely horrific at it. Why are you here? But yet companies, you know, hold on to those people, or even promote them. I'm like, okay. Like the IT manager that I worked for at a company years ago was an idiot. The heat sink fell off one of the CPUs in the machine when I was working on it, and he's like, "You need to." Yeah, so I put it on its side, which is, you know, just a stopgap until I could get the CPU heatsink attached again. And he's like, "Okay, I want you to low-level format all the hard drives in this machine." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Well, yeah, you changed the position of the bearing, so all those hard drives need to be reformatted." I'm like, "I'm not going to bring this whole company down for what will probably be a week or better." Because you want me to low-level format a hard drive. And he says, "You're going to do it." And I said, "You know what? You can do it." I quit, and I quit that job right there on the spot. He had to hire 2 people to do what I was doing. Yeah, the company's not in business anymore, actually. Fun fact. Some people just find other jobs. Get rid of this. So you see I'm using basically just 2 or 3 tools. Most of the time, you don't need to use. I think there's actually a Couch to Photoshop tutorial I did on this channel. So if you're trying to learn Photoshop, it's a pretty good one. It's I think 8 or 10 episodes long. I go through a whole bunch of basically what I'm doing right now. So you can learn it. So if you're like, hey, I wish I could learn Photoshop. I want to be able to do stuff to my MidJourney images or Diffusion images, then just that. Really good primer. Okay, I'm almost done with this part of the color here. The rest of this body looked pretty good from what I recall. And I'm zoomed in pretty tight because I want to see it. Like, I don't want to just kind of see it from a distance. I actually want to look at what I'm working on. Okay, so now let's turn the texture on and see. So the texture is a little screwed up, but that's pretty easy to fix. So let's start over. So this is just my standard process for how I work on everything. This, by the way, is what the texture layer looks like, if you're wondering. So the goal here is to try and make it so this texture layer looks realistic and even across the skin surface. So if you're looking at it like this, you can see where it's screwed up. Like in here, this texture is real wonky. And by the way, this is the same exact technique I use when I'm retouching faces. So whenever you're retouching faces, you want to try and fix all of this texturecity, texturification, because this is something your eye is drawn to. But if you smooth the skin, like people say skin smoothing, it gets rid of all this texture, which is stupid. So don't. Anyone says they're going to skin smooth something, smack them, because that's not the right way to do that. Anyway, I don't work on it like this because I can't stand looking at it this way. I work on it like this because I've done this long enough. I can kind of see what I'm doing, but you do whatever you need to do to make it work. But it's just fixing the texture, so the texture looks nice and even. Plus, you see this gray mark here, or this mark. We removed that in the color area, so we got to fix that now. I like that little. Borrow this. I think I like the lip that way. This is a little weird. Gotta troubleshoot this one. Yeah. So I think when this is done, I'm actually going to print this one pretty large, and probably have it at some of the places some of the conventions. I speak at a lot of photography conventions, and I think I might hang this one up. Because I'm obviously talking about AI art as part of what I do, because I do use AI art in my client deliverables. So I do actually use, in fact, I mean, not that I can't show those on here, but I have some of this. The jazzy music is so smooth. I had somebody complaining about it, and I almost removed her from the channel. But then I realized that my job was to offend somebody today. Okay, again, I'm going to duplicate this layer because I don't want to potentially screw it up. The other layer we did the color on worked out pretty well, but try this. See how well we can do. We're just going to use the patch tool, and we're going to spiral this. Yeah, this is going to be kind of hard. The patch tool may not be the proper tool for most of that job, but it got it started. And we just want this. We want the texture to be consistent. A little bit fractured. Look. And then we can do the rest with the clone stamp. Hard edge. Always use a hard edge when you're doing this, because you can see that the texture matters, and if you use a soft edge, this falls apart. And again, you're just copying skin pores, so you don't have to be super dainty about it. These are going to be very minor details, but when it's printed large, it's going to matter. Hey, let's talk about pricing, because this is another thing that frustrates me. So you guys, like, you may like get into this and you're like, you know what I want to do? I want to sell my art. And I'm actually working on a video for that. I don't know if I put that in the video description. Check. There is, yeah. So I put a place down in the video description of where I'm setting up my shop for selling my art. So if you guys are going to sell your AI art, there's a suggestion down there. Anyway, so you can go and you can set up your own shop, and the goal there is to sell your work and make money. But a lot of people approach it, I think, the wrong direction. I think these all turned out well. So I'm gonna get rid of this color version because I think I like that one. And this texture copy, we don't need that. Anyway, when you price your artwork, don't price it for you unless you are your target audience. You know, a lot of people, you know, for example, as a photographer, my customers drive nicer cars than I do, right? I drive my wife's Kia, actually. I don't even have a car anymore. We got rid of it during COVID, and my wife and I share a car because she works from home, or used to. She just got a job, so first time in 27 years she works in the corporate world. But the thing is that you're not selling to you. So like if you're thinking, wow, I wouldn't pay $300 for a piece of art to hang on my wall, I'm going to price it lower because I think that's a better, you know, a price point, and I would be willing to pay that. Are you your target customer? So ask yourself that question first, because if you're not your target customer, then don't price it for you, price it for who you're reaching for. If you're targeting, you know, people like, for example, Porsches don't compete against Kia because it's a different target customer. So when you're pricing your artwork, price it for who you're going for, not for maybe yourself. So when I put this out there, what am I going to sell this for? I'll probably, if this is a good size print, this will probably sell. If I'm selling it only online, like using that store link like I put below, I'll probably sell a print of this for 60 to 80 bucks. That's pretty attainable, but that's because it's online only. If this is going to hang in a gallery somewhere, remember that usually 50% or 30% of your sale goes to the gallery. That's how galleries make money, in case you didn't know that. So if you hang this in a gallery, half of whatever that price is goes to the gallery. So if you sell this for 80 bucks in a gallery, it's going to cost you probably 60 bucks to print, which means you just lost $20, and you're not going to make a living. This is why you call it starving artist, right? This piece, full size like this, if I really print it big and really nice, I'll probably sell this in the neighborhood of $1,200 to, if it's one I'm going to sell numerous ones of. But if it's a limited edition, say it's a one of, like you think of NFTs, I'm going to sell one signed print. I'll probably sell this in the $4,500 range, and I'll hang it in a gallery, which means I get, again, around $2,000 is what I'm going to do minus my cost. Now, if I produce a really nice solid piece of work, you know, every week for a year, you can see how you can make a living doing this. But you should not just sell these things for pennies. The other thing is think strategy. If you are a collector, you're buying artwork. You're buying artwork for one of two reasons. You're buying artwork because you love it, or because you think you can flip it and make money. It's the exact same thing that happens to people who do NFTs, right? There's no difference there. But the difference comes in when you think about, turning this curve on top. Hang on, I'm talking to myself at the same time here. When you are, where was I talking about? My God, I sidetracked myself because I lost what I was doing in here. Oh yeah, when you're trying to price point yourself, also think about your collector, right? What does your collector want? Do you think someone who collects art, they're either buying it because they love it or buying it because they think you can flip it? Do you think they're more likely to buy one of 30 of something if that's like cheap? Like, I wouldn't think so. Or what if you have several thousand, and this is the other problem. I see people who are making NFTs of these things like they're going out of style, right? Do you think a collector is more interested in a piece that's a limited edition and has a few from an artist who seems to be pretty well sold? Meaning, if I look through your gallery, I see, wow, you've been selling pretty well. A lot of people are buying your art. Or do you think I'm going to look through there and go, wow, you have 8,000 pieces for sale and you haven't sold a thing? Am I likely to buy your stuff thinking I might be able to flip it? Probably not. So the only reason someone would buy your art is if they think they love it, right? So you're going to have to work with one of those two audiences. It's typically not both. It could be both in the cases of some collectors, but I will tend to tell you that most people buy it either because they love it or they're going to flip it. And they're not going to flip it or think they can flip it if you have several hundred pieces of art and you haven't sold one. So my NFTs, for example, I have some dolls that I made out of my friends, and I sold one right away back in April, I think, of last year as an NFT. And then I put a few more up and I haven't released the other ones yet. So I have a whole lot of other dolls that are done, but they're not available. They're not for sale at this time because I don't think that I don't think I can get the right impression across if I've got several thousand of these things for sale and no one's buying them. So be strategic about that too. So when you hang things in galleries, you are hanging things that you think will want to be collected, but you also feel strongly are things that people would love. You're trying to appeal to both audiences. Kind of ponder your strategies before you just kind of go ham here and take all this AI art and shove it out there on OpenSea, which, by the way, think of your gallery as where are you shopping for your car, right? You want a Porsche. Are you shopping for your Porsche at the mall or at some low-end dealership somewhere? No, you're shopping for your Porsche at a very nice car dealership, at a Porsche dealership. And OpenSea is not a Porsche dealership. OpenSea is catering toward the people who don't want to spend any money to mint something. They just want to be able to mint as many things as possible and not spend money doing so. Do you think that is where a person who wants to drop $200,000 on some amazing piece of art is sitting? Probably not. So I think other sites like Super Rare and Foundation, well, Foundation used to be invite only, and that's when I got involved with it. And I think it was better then. Because again, it's a gallery, it's restricting what it's showing, it's only the best. Someone has to actually make an investment to put money, into the art, to mint it, to put it in there. So more collectors, like every piece of art I've ever sold as an NFT, I've sold on Foundation, every single one of them. And yeah, I had to pay minting fees and whatever, but again, it was priced high enough that it didn't care, all worked out. Same thing with this art. If you're going to sell this art, you're going to put it someplace, price it appropriately so that a collector feels that either they can flip it or they love it, or again, both. But don't give it away. No one thinks anything cheap is worth money. I have a friend who's a wedding photographer and she's trying to get more business. So what does she do? She lowers her prices. And I think that's not correct. Because if you're lowering your prices, what is that telling everyone? If I have, let's say for example, I have my daughter. I have two daughters. My daughter was going to get married, and I need a wedding photographer. And I'm saying the budget is going to be maybe $10,000 for the wedding photographer, which, by the way, is not outrageous for a really nice wedding. If you're having a big wedding, that's reasonable for my target audience. Again, maybe not my budget, what I would spend on it, but that's what my client is going to spend on it. I'm going to save this, by the way. So you price yourself as a wedding photographer at, say you're doing weddings at $2,000, and this person comes out there and says, hey, I want to get my daughter's wedding photographed. What do you charge? And you say, well, $2,000. Like, oh, I was looking to spend $10,000. Do you think that person is looking at you as a cost savings? Or are they looking at you as the wrong photographer? They're looking at you as the wrong photographer. Oh, obviously I'm looking for someone who's better or has more experience or something else, because your pricing is so wrong compared to what you're trying, the point you're trying to give across. The same with your art here. So if you're selling your artwork, your AI artwork, and you're putting it out there for pennies, what message are you sending about the value of this piece? Worthless, right? So that's what I'm going to charge for it. I'm going to make it a very low amount because it's worthless. And that's exactly the message you're sending. So when you're doing these things, you should be trying to price your art to match the perception of what it is that you're trying to sell. Some lashes in. Did some new layer. Very philosophical today. Add some. Technically, this eye here is a mistake. Like I shouldn't actually see it because the far eye, if it's a true profile, shouldn't be seen. So from a photographic perspective, this is actually technically. That looks pretty good. All right, what do you want for the background while we're working on this? So by the way, yesterday, Christian released this plugin here for Stable Diffusion. So you can actually run Stable Diffusion inside of Photoshop. And it runs the newest version, 1.5. So this uses the Dream Studio. So this talks to Dream Studio, which is obviously Stable Diffusion's product. But it talks to that. So you put your API key in here, and now you can talk to this thing, do your Stable Diffusion right inside here. So say we want a background, Blade Runner. Blade Runner, Cyberpunk. We want dramatic lighting. Let's do it like a 4K. 4K would be my artist in this case. The background color next to the nose. Oh, that's actually her cheek. It's her far cheek. If we flatten that out, I think her face would look odd. But that's a good question. Like, do you think that's her cheek? I think that's her cheek. We're bringing out a good point. Does that actually look like a... I think it does. Because the light seems to be catching it here, so it looks like a cheek. Okay, so 4K. We want this a little taller than that. 50 steps is fine. In fact, so a little secret about using Dream Studio. So if you guys don't know what Dream Studio is, let me bring it up here. Dream Studio. Beta.dreamstudio.ai. So this system here is this is Stable Diffusion. No, it's not the free one. Everyone's like, is it free? No, it's not free. But it's the same people who make the free one. So they do is they give out the free one, but this one is a version ahead. So this is version 1.5. The free one is version 1.4. So they're making money here, and then they're making them and releasing them and getting better and better. So if you want to continue watch AI art get better and use the free tool, maybe you pay for this tool, right? Because all the people paying for this tool are helping to fund the free one, which in the long run works for everybody. Anyway, secret to using this and not spending a whole lot of money. So this is 1 credit. If you change this to Euler Ancestral, you can run a really low scale, really low steps and get a good result. And it costs you like fractions of a credit. And then when you find one you really like, change it to Euler and then add your steps and then get your good, your rendering done that way. And then you kind of keep your cost low as you're exploring prompts. So that's, anyway, that is using, this is using that tool. So this is that tool, but I'm just going to do it right in here. So let's hit Dream and see what we get. And it's just going to produce 1 image for me. I should probably up this and for, oh, and let's do muted colors or desaturated. I might actually try black and white. Well, because if we do black and white, we can use just the luminosity of that. We're going to use luminosity of any one of these. I'll go like this. So just create a layer out of this. And it's small, but I don't care because we're going to use it in the background. If I wanted to really upscale it, I would run it through Chainer. But because it's supposed to be blurry anyway, I don't care. Did I spell Blade wrong? It seemed to work. Yeah, I don't spell. That's I want to talk about superpowers. I don't do that. I don't spell. Thomas Jefferson, I think, said it's the uncreative person who can only think of one way to spell a word, and I live by that. Okay, so I'm just use select subject here, and I'm actually going to go filter and run. Select. I'm going to use select a mask. We're going to hold down the shift key, and we're going to run the old version of it because I think the old version is better. And go around. And get rid of that. Do I prefer stable diffusion or MidJourney? You know, MidJourney has an amazing ability to inspire me. It really does. And I was really, really into that product. And I didn't really like Stable Diffusion. Everything I got out of it looked horrible. And I really couldn't figure out what I was doing wrong. And I figured it was me, or it was actually, I figured it was the product. Like DALL-E. I can't get anything good out of DALL-E to save my life. It's like a what's the word I'm looking for? Stock photo generator. It's like it was trained on stock photos. So everything looks like it's something out of a corporate catalog. And I really didn't want that. I wanted something that was more painterly. So MidJourney was really great. Like, I really liked it. But once I figured out Stable Diffusion, I like this product better. I haven't used MidJourney. I've used it a bit a couple days ago. Again, just to kind of play with different things, because you never know. I pay for both. I put my money into both. But one of the other reasons I like Stable Diffusion is these people are taking this tool and making the model available for free. So you can run it locally, or you can run it in a collab notebook or things like that. These people are giving back to the AI community. And, you know, MidJourney uses Stable Diffusion as part of their processor. So they're using it as well, because Stable Diffusion is open. Like, they say, we're going to give it away so the world can use it. That's pretty damn nice of them. So I want to kind of give my money, but if I were going to give money to something, I'm going to kind of give it to Stable Diffusion, because I think they're doing more for humanity than MidJourney. Now, MidJourney is a great tool. Don't get me wrong. I love it. I use it. But I just think I get better work out of Stable Diffusion. So we're just going to use a hint of the background. I'm just playing with different blending modes to see which one I like. Green is looking pretty good, but I do like soft light as well. I might do soft light, and we'll do it at like back the opacity. Just want it to be kind of there. I don't want it to dominate the scene. Now I have to check and see, does it make sense focus-wise? Is this too sharp? We need to blur it even more. So for all of you who are thinking, wow, I need to upscale that first. No, it's the other direction. Actually. Yeah, I think MidJourney is more motivating to me. Like, I get really great images out of MidJourney. Like, it just really inspires me. But when it comes to quality of image, Stable Diffusion's images just look better. They just look, I mean, look at the texture on this. If this was done in MidJourney, you know what it would look like. It had all these weird grainy bits and stuff on it, and it'd be really bizarre. And we don't have that here at all. So I think this, in a lot of ways, this product is superior, but it's different. It's just different. So there was before and there's after. That might be, is that too much? That might be a bit too much. Let's try it again. It's just a different tool. It's like saying which one's better, Photoshop or Illustrator. I'll use both. I also own Affinity Photo. I own Krita. Everyone owns Krita. That's free. I have Rebel. How do you say that damn thing? Yeah, Rebel 3, 4, and 5. So I've been investing in that product for years too. Corel Painter, I have. Use that a lot as well. MidJourney, we give it 3 eyes and 2 noses. You're right. That's the other thing. I did not GFPGAN this. I did nothing to fix it. Look at these images. These are straight out of Stable Diffusion. No modification. So this gets the pupils a little weird. Look at that, though. I mean, that's, aside from the hands, bag of sausages thing going on. And I was obviously playing a Cthulhu theme in here. So you're like, why are they all messed up? These are straight out of Stable Diffusion. I couldn't do this in MidJourney. You'd know what it would look like. It would look terrible. Plus, it doesn't do this style of art. It's just a different style of art. I don't know. These are ones that I loved. And again, these are ones, all these are all Stable Diffusion. Now, I have ones I've done in MidJourney as well. How do you go to I keep everything organized by it's whether it's an asset or a client thing. These are assets, and it'd be MidJourney. And then in here, these are all my MidJourneys. So like, I like some of these. I was playing with So I added the texture. So this is called impasto. Impasto is like your 3-dimensional paint texture where it kind of comes out of the canvas. So I added the impasto to this because this is what it looked like when it came out of MidJourney. And there's nothing wrong with this, but it looks like it's AI art. Now when it prints, it looks much more textural. In fact, I will probably paint on this canvas. If I print this one, I'll probably paint right over the top of this flower. And you're like, but Scott, I can't paint. That's why I use AI art. I'll let you in a little secret. Go to the store and you buy a can or jar of Mod Podge. Right? It's like a glue, and you use a rough brush and you just follow these strokes and use Mod Podge. And once it dries, it looks like you painted on it. How's that for a cheat? Anyway, so I've done all these in MidJourney, and I've been very happy with them for the most part. I swapped the faces on some of these. Like that's the face it gave me, and this is the face of a friend I put in there. And I added some additional leaves, and I had to fix the hand. I did a whole video on this one because I used DALL-E to fix the hand. DALL-E does hands really well. This is my GoPro cat. So MidJourney is very cool. Like you can do a lot of cool stuff with it, but this is just kind of what I'm going to end up with. Compare that to this, compare that to what we've been working at. This is just so much more. So it's just as inspirational, I think, as MidJourney. And I didn't think so originally. Originally, I was all about MidJourney, and I still get some screwed up faces, but I think this is just more me. Just chatting with you guys. As I said, I was just been goofing around for today. I wanted to work on this picture, and I just thought I'd do it with a bunch of people. All right, what do I do now? Let's dodge and burn this thing a little bit, make it more interesting, because it's fine. I just think we need some more stuff. So let's add, let's look at red of her lip. So the other side of the color wheels is green here. Let's take that green and pop it. I'm thinking maybe we add a little lights in here, maybe. That's my knee-jerk reaction. We need something in. So okay, now that looks completely fake. That's fine. We're not done yet. We're just started. So I got one done. Now I'm going to blur that. Looking at those dots. Change this to screen. Do it again. Yeah, dash test and test P. Yeah, those are also very good. Again, it's changing so fast. I mean, every day there's something new. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So I don't really have a favorite. I think they're all good. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, the problem is that this looks fine. It looks a little fakey though. Play with this first layer. Here needs love. It needs to be changed to a blending mode that makes more sense for this. And try them all. Because you never know. You might walk into a happy accident thinking it's going to end up being color dodge. Maybe back it out of it. Nope, I like it bright. Okay, so but this green would cast some light in here, so we gotta do that. Create a new layer. Paint like idiot. And then we can mask it off. Grab a brush. Figure out where it's supposed to go. About 50. going to be hard to keep up to MidJourney with such a motivated dev team. Yeah, they're motivated because they're making money, right? But Stable Diffusion, the guy who's in charge of that thing, he's a billionaire. He doesn't have to worry about money. So he's making a tool to change the world. Pretty impressive. Kudos to him for deciding what legacy he wanted to leave behind. Pretty cool. And, you know, Bill Gates is another one of those people, you know, you hate him and whatever. Bill Gates has done a lot of good for the world too. Elon Musk, you know, look at all the stuff he's done with the spaceships and so on. And there's a lot of these people who are really wealthy do some pretty crazy things to kind of adjust what their legacy is. Like that. Rather than just buying a whole bunch of big mansions like some of the movie stars, you know. I'm just backing off areas where I think it was a little aggressive with it, but it should just look like it's got a bit of a glow to it. It's a philosophy day. We're talking philosophy and we're painting. Didn't know that Stable Diffusion is your second favorite. You like that you can run, yeah, you can run it on your machine locally. It's amazing you can run it locally. I really love that aspect of it. And MidJourney is never going to be something you'll be able to run locally. I mean, unless they figure out a way to bill you. But I have no problem with that either. I have no problem with them making money doing this. I love that they're creating a tool that inspires so many. So again, it's not like one is better than the other one. They're just... Yeah, I like that. That turned out nice. Let's do... This is the lights. So this is lights. These are all... Okay. What is this? Like a blank layer. All right, so let's add some more down in here somewhere. Wire, do I like that wire? I don't like wire offends. It's harder to do now because we added the background, so we got to go through and remask that maybe. You know, it looks Stable Diffusion free. Yeah, you can install it locally. You can run it free if you have an NVIDIA machine, if you have an NVIDIA card that's capable. It's not friendly to a lot of AMD machines, and it requires a lot of video RAM. I'm running a 3080 card with 10 gig of RAM in it, and I can get a 768 by 512 image, no problem, which is fine. I mean, that's where this started, and now this image is almost 12,000 pixels by 9,000 pixels. This image is gigantic. Okay, what else do we need here? Need some green down in here, maybe? Like a green something? Green light. I think I want a green light. Let's put one right there. That little nubby. Green light. Is that too big? Yeah, I don't want it that big. Something small. I almost want it like, oh, I want it right here. This looks like a little control panel. Put it in here. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody. I was just going to goof around, so I was like, maybe I'll do it online. Normally, I would do this as members only, by the way. So today, I was just kind of feeling like I was going to share. So, and everybody, thanks. You know, thanks for coming in here too. He's obviously, you can tell by the fancy icon, his colored name. The dude is helping keep the channel alive. So if you find these live streams helpful, you know, feel free to contribute to the channel by clicking the join button down below. Or I've actually had people now recently, which I'd never had before, click the what is that? Like this video, or it's like a money thing. Oh, super chat, I think it is. that is new to me. Like I'd never had anybody do that until a couple weeks ago. It was like my very first one ever. Oh, that was pretty cool. Really appreciate that. Bigger, more blur. The idea behind lights is you just want to kind of continue to add to them by blurring and then duplicating, blurring and duplicating. Oops, not average. I want to blur and oops. But again, blur, pausing, blur, and then again duplicate, and it should start to look like it's got a glow to it, like that. And we can use this same layer here if we turn this off. Back in. Yeah, super chat. Oh yeah, you've been gifting memberships. That has been really cool. That was very cool. I've never seen anybody do that before either, so that was really nice. It was white. Reflecting light, it should glow the surface. Green on it too. Let's fill this entire layer actually with oh yeah, what I used to, sorry, yeah, you're late to the party here. I used an application called Chainer, which apparently just updated. Yes, I overly protect my machine. Anyway, yeah, this Chainer app, you can load in. I have this set to upsize portraits. So what it does is it runs it through, and this is free, by the way, and it runs on pretty much any machine. And it's way faster than it was a week ago, by the way. They've improved it a lot. But you run it through an upscaler, and then I run that upscaler through another upscaler. And then at the end, I get 12,000. I'm sorry, yeah, 12,000 pixels on the long range. Well, this one's 11,264 pixels by 8,100. So that's a nice workable size. Quite workable size. Have some light over here too. Green. Just trying to think of where this light would shine. I'm just coloring in the mask, basically. Some down in here too. Yeah, I did a whole video on it because a lot of people are using Colab notebooks for upgrading things, and that's fine, but Google's starting to kind of get onto you now, and they're shutting down a lot of that by charging people, which is good. I mean, that's their business, but yeah. I will tell you that he fixed a lot of things last week that were really a problem. So if you tried to do a double upsize before and it failed, you might try it again. It seems to be much better than it was. I think these green dots are a little bit bright. Maybe I need to get rid of a few of them. I think my initial dots are too big, maybe. I don't know. What do you think? Should I knock them down a bit? I think this first series here, these are too big. Go in. I'll draw it back in smaller one. like. I don't know. Not real sold on that yet. You just keep them dainty. Maybe too dainty. Double them. Yeah, that's true. But it's just the ability for these things now to pay attention to details, like the latent, not the latent diffusion, the new one. What's that called? Big. I can't. It's a latent diffusion model, but I can't remember what it's called. But anyway, it's a huge upscaler you can run now as part of the GAN that they just recently added, and it's nutty good at what it does. I'm going to color this all in. So what this layer is all the green that could be anywhere on the screen, right? So this is all the green, and what we're doing is we're using this mask, which looks like this, to decide what the green shows. Yep, same girl. Working on the same girl. Same girl as before. Get rid of this layer in. Let's do a few more of these, but I want a little bit bigger. The secret to this, by the way, is flow. Opacity is almost always at 100% this entire time. In fact, well, right now I'm going to take it down, though, because I want my maximum to be lower. So I can draw like a really light green in through here. Use your phone to spell? Yep, me too. I use voice all the time. My wife thinks that's really funny. Because I use my voice. I'll ask Google something, but I'll use the microphone. I don't know. I've never known how to spell. My vocabulary is sizable, but all right, what about the eyes? The eyes are kind of wonky. I did a whole video on eyes years ago on how to make them all demony looking. I put that out on my Gumroad channel here. Pretty easy to do. Appreciate tips on how to sell my MidJourney art on POD. What is POD? Best AR upscale. Love your content. I talked about sales a little bit ago, actually. I link below the place that I'm using for selling. I think that's the better option than like Redbubble, for example. I don't think Redbubble does a great job at moving. I don't think I've sold maybe 7 or 6 pieces of art on there over the years. I've been using it for years. But I've had a lot more luck with the one I linked below. A lot more. So that's kind of where I'm telling people, if you're going to sell your art, use the place I linked. Doing pretty well. I'm trying to think if I want more catch lighting. I think I do. Yeah, that looks a lot better when I need some white in here. Restaurant is one of those words. I have trouble with surprised. The word surprise. I spell it wrong every stinking time. My wife thinks that's so funny. I want a little bit more liquid line and more. Bit hard. Blue here. Blur it a little bit. Fake. Blur than that. Well, if you want this Photoshop document when I'm done with it, I make it a little more reasonable size because it's gigantic right now. It'll be uploaded into the Dropbox for the channel professionals. By the way, if you are a member of this channel, you must send me your email because YouTube has no method for me to contact you to get you your files. Like nothing. It's almost one of the most horrific systems I've ever used for trying to communicate with the group. It's just horrible. And they say they're working on it, but I haven't seen anything substantial change in a long time. I'm getting kind of frustrated with it. Like I'm getting to a point where I might actually just go back to using Patreon, but I'll give them a little bit more time, I guess. I like that here. Since we've got these little dots, like, is this a screw or is it a light? Screw. It looked terrible as a light. Need a little bit more oomph, though. A little bit more. A lot more oomph. Do. Better. What a beauty. She is beautiful. I'm very happy with her. Very happy. Okay, let's add, fix this hair back here. Kind of a train wreck. I think the way to do that would be this. Blur tool might work too. Put it on the right. Duplicate it first in case we screwed up. Has a Mr. Rogers vibe. I can't actually hear the music, so you guys got to tell me if it sucks or not. I'm not wearing my headphones. This crunchiness, I just get rid of this by blurring it, or we can smudge it. Smudging is fine, but with this size of document, this might be horrific. It's actually okay. So the nice thing about this is you can use it to kind of follow the length of the hair. You get kind of a maintain the directionality. But we just need to get rid of any of that crunchiness because it just doesn't. A little bit of movement here is all the problem. Don't want it to look crunchy. Just crunchiness. Coming along nicely though. I mean, it came together quickly. Better. All right, and then we can actually add some hair. We got hairs. And add a few gray hairs to help with convincing mind that there's something. Don't need to draw every freaking hair, by the way. And I undo a lot because I maybe don't like the hair. Find the perfect hair. It's amazing what the mind will fill in when you give it a few little details. So oftentimes you just give it a little hint of what's going on and it'll figure the rest out. It'd be a little blurry. A little bit too. Blur him a little bit. Yes, if any of you are in Tennessee, I'll be there next week. I'm shooting. I have 12 or some odd number like that boudoir clients in Chattanooga, and then I'll be heading to Knoxville. I'm doing body paint. I'm potty painting in Knoxville, and then I'll be coming home, and I'm leaving for Orlando. I'm speaking down there, so if you guys are in Orlando area, I'll be in your neck of the woods. I really want to smudge this more, but I want to use a dry media tool. But these smudge tools are different. Yep. Push his hair around. Used body paint, yeah. Really, that's awesome. My friend Otto got me into it. He was on Skin Wars. Lives very close to me here. This guy always wore the cowboy hat. Quite the brush at one. Yes, I body paint fairly often. Doing yesterday. Basically smearing the hair, but we're using a brush that looks more like hair. Excited to check out the Photoshop plugin you showed on the video. Yeah, we're using it today, actually, earlier. It works with your credits in Dream Studio. Yep. Fine with me. Credits and bought a bunch right off the bat. So. I'm gonna smear this hair out so it doesn't look so crunchy and weird. Pretty weird right now. When we're done, we're gonna blur it anyway, so I just want to kind of make it look a little bit more realistic. Around that. Twisting. Trying to decide what I like in here. Some of these hairs look like they're repeating because we clone stamped them in here, so figure that out. Work on my laser cutter in a little bit. I gotta make a wife wants a gift for one of her friends. I like making something physical with my hands too. I'm not I can't swing a hammer to save my life though. I really don't start to learn. I like making little things, so I make things with my laser cutter. My 3D printer, a couple 3D printers. Thought about adding some of that kind of stuff to the channel too, but I don't want to confuse the crap out of people. Like, what is he going to do today? Is he playing with this stupid laser cutter? I don't want to watch that. I don't want it to be that kind of a situation. of following the hair. Super happy with it. Better than it was. What are we talking about? We were on the same show, one season. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I've done, I do quite a bit of body paint here in Milwaukee. I do some on the road when I travel, but not as much as I. Better. I'm gonna take this and we're gonna blur it a lot. We're Gaussian blur it. That. And then we're going to mask that off. I'm going to bring in just the areas we need to for like where the hair would automatically fall off, like a lot of this would not be in. This looks a little bit more like it's going back. Yeah. About some sparks. Let's add some sparks. Hit save here while I'm thinking about it. This is far off. Use here. Flatten. And actually add it. These can all be combined now too. Background. Do new background. Our background. Got our lights. We've got her eyes. Got backgrounds. And we did that using Stable Diffusion here inside of Photoshop. Good. Put that down here and merge that in as well, because we're not going to change that. Okay, let's add some sparks. So let's go back in here. I put a link to these down below as well. I use these things all the time. All the time. Just adds a bit of that volumetric feel to things, which I like. Again, this is another one I bought. I buy a lot of these. Super helpful. Green. Now I gotta figure out which orientation if I want to keep it. I feel like it that way. We'll borrow the same mask we had. Even that's too sharp. Like everyone's like, oh, you gotta upsize, upsize, upsize. Not everything needs to be upsized. Sometimes we're gonna blur the crap out of it. Too sharp. Some of these actually kind of float over the body as well. And you want some of them. Disney princess is looking pretty good. We need a name for her, by the way. She's going to need a name. Oh yeah, if you haven't clicked the like button and you've been standing here for a while, could you do that for me? That would be really awesome of you. I never remember to ask people. It's like the way you clap. I think we've had like 400 or 500 people in here. 496 off and on, and we got 36 likes. That's not good. Unless it sucks. Just download Chainer. I'll watch your video on how to use it later. Yeah, it's a great tool. I appreciate the guy. I sent him a message saying that I was going to send a bunch of people his way because I really liked it. So it's actually one of the only active development upscalers I've seen. I know there's some collab notebooks and stuff, but I'm seriously not going to sit there and enter each one of those into a collab notebook. I mean, I don't got time for that. But that Chainer, I can set that up and have it run overnight. And that's just freaking priceless. Ooh, I like that one. I like this one too. Try this one first. Let's go get that other one too. We're not going to use all these, but I want to see which ones I like the best. Green. Duplicate that. I like that. I don't know. Like I don't want it all over her body. Do I like it in the background, like here? Maybe. Maybe. What's this other one look like? I think I like that one. I think I really like this coloration up here too. However, we got to get rid of the spots on the face. I think the easiest way to do that. Do we need this one, or we decide? This is a bit much. Let's get rid of that. I think I don't like this one now. Let's use this one. Turn back in those sparkles. Why is the AI mess up in next so much? So I have a theory about that. So all these models, all of them are trained on a 512 by 512 square. And that's why you get double heads, because it's trying to draw two heads if you make the picture longer. So we make it longer, it's trying to draw a head here, and it's drawing another head here, because that's how it's trained. But aside from that, when it cropped these, because it just took a bunch of pictures off the internet and cropped them, right? When it did that, it probably cropped at the neck. So it doesn't really understand how long the neck is supposed to be. At least that's my thought. I'm going to make this into a smart object. Actually, yeah. And we can kind of just work with people. I don't want. Actually, that hell. Let's just heal them. Them off the picture. That's probably the easiest. And then we can mask. Oh. Maybe we'll let a couple come across the testicles here. Okay. Almost done, I think. We're going to do color grade it, and then we'll call it good. Let's color grade it first. Or check and see if there's a obvious auto in here. somewhere. It's mediocre. Better. Curves are the most powerful tool in all of Photoshop by far. Gucci. And let's throw. Let's look at and see if there's a color lookup that kind of just jumps right out to us. Aside from my favorite ones, which are always like, I always love drop blues. I always love futuristic bleak. There's so many of these that I love, but I want to go through every one of them just in case one of them is motivating me. This is kind of nice, but then so is that. But it's blowing out the side of her head here, so I'm gonna be careful with that one. Drop blues, always love that one. All colors, that looks pretty. Oh, I like that one too. I always love that one. Oh, I'm so consistent. All right, so this gives me an idea though. Let's not use this. Let's use a gradient map. Let's do this. It's a gradient map. So a gradient map just maps everything from this color to this color. So we're going to go and edit this color. I don't want white over here. I think I want like a peachy. This maybe. Here. This is a great tool, by the way. Colorus. That there, and then we'll use over here teal. This, and then we can put this into like a soft light. I like that, but maybe not at full strength. Makes it a little more interesting. I like blues in the lower parts of images, the shadow parts. Another way to do this too, while we're playing with it, let's try one more way. Color balance. Try and look just at the shadows when you do. The only part I'm really. And I always swing the controls wildly and try and find the sweet spot. I don't just move them a little bit because you don't know if you could have kept moving it, it would have been better. By the way, once you get done with a bunch of these, then you can make these into LUTs too, so you can actually use your own LUTs in here. I have a few of my own, but I don't really like that much. I like this better, I think. I like the two together. Do I like none at all? This is the image we started with. It already looks worse, right? We've improved it a lot by just adding these two colorizing layers, I think. Do I like both? I think I do. I like this one a little bit less. The curve on top. And All right, so here's where we started. Kind of. I mean, her face is already fixed. Because we started, it was... I think we already altered it. Already got it altered. Anyway, look kind of like that, and now we're here. That was before the last save, so here's new version. I'm very happy with it. It's nice. It's what I wanted it to be, and I'm pleased with it. It doesn't look. I'm a little not happy with the hair back here, but I can play with that. I mean, I'll be playing with that for freaking ever, I bet. And at some point, you just gotta walk away from it. Anyway, so yeah, there was my that was me moving around. So I just thought I'd do it online so you guys could see what I'm doing. And that's pretty much what I'm doing with client work too. So I'll bring the client work in, play with adding different AI parts to that now and kicking those out. Unfortunately, a lot of those are nudes because they're all body paints, and I can't really show those to you. I actually thought about doing some of those on Discord as live streams for members only, because there's a member only area for YouTube people inside of Discord. So if you're in my Discord server, which feel free to use the MidJourney bot and all that kind of stuff in there. At the very bottom, there's a VIP area only for YouTube. So there's a private YouTube member MidJourney room, and then I can also stream on there. Anyway, hey, that was me goofing around in here today. So I appreciate you guys coming in and hanging around with me. It's nice chatting with everybody. Thanks, Al, for your support. You're awesome, dude. I did watch your video too. I like your music. So I'm an EDM guy, so I was very happy with the electronicness of it. I'm also like, I was synth waving today earlier. Like I like that whole vibe. So Stable Diffusion on Procreate. Yeah, I don't own any Apple devices. I own Apple stock, and I appreciate your contributions, but no, everything I own is a PC or an Android thing. That's just my jam. I can't, I'm too fiddly. I want to be able to get in and mess with stuff, and a lot of times Apple stuff has just locked you out where you can't really get in there. So my preference is to have something I can play with. So that's just the way that I'm built. Right, you guys were awesome. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it. Hey, everybody, thanks for hanging around with me today, too. Thanks for clicking the like button. If you haven't subscribed before and you like this channel, that's great. And again, if you want to click that join button down below, I'm giving you a prompt every day, which I think you guys are using or seeing. I'm not really sure. I'm hoping you're seeing them. I may not have a lot of those coming next week, though, because I'm going to be gone, so you won't be getting as many prompts. But hopefully I'll still be able to do a live stream. But I'm speaking every day. Every day next week. I'm back Friday. So Monday through Friday, I'm gone. And I'm back for I think a week, and then I'm in Florida. So it's going to be a choppy time. But Stable Diffusion has some really great stuff that they're hinting at, they're bringing out. So I'm excited to see that. They're very aggressive at their editor that they have released, and who knows what they're going to produce, but I'm excited to see it. And then MidJourney, I listened to their office hours the other day, and I didn't really hear any news that made me think that they're going to be releasing anything anytime soon. Of course, that's, who knows? Obviously, they have to keep pace because a lot of people right now are super excited by the Stable Diffusion stuff. So they're going to have to kick it up because Stable Diffusion is obviously hinting that there's something big coming on the 24th, I think Eman tweeted. So again, if you're not on Twitter, get on Twitter, because when we start doing these print competition, this AI competition I've got planned, Twitter is one of those areas that we're going to be using. And even if it's just us, we can't use Instagram because no, and you can't use Facebook for any of this stuff. So we'll be using Discord, and we'll be using Twitter because that's really what kind of the AI universe is looking to, how we're all using this. You guys, thanks for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. But yeah, I'll probably do another, I might do another one on Sunday if I'm around. I have to pack before I leave, but if I'm just hanging around, maybe I'll do another live stream. And let me know if you like the live streams. Again, a lot of people want just videos and they don't want the live streams. I need to know that I'm not destroying my own channel by doing that, trying to keep balance with everything. So, hey, thanks for coming in. I'll talk to you guys later.